Morning in a conversation with George Weigel about Benedict the XVI and his teaching. And this is now a part of a new documentary that you will see on television. It's a 48-minute documentary that tells the story of Pope Emeritus Benedict's life and takes a look at some of the reasons for his resignation. And that is done through interviews with experts and firsthand witnesses. Melissa Butts is a Vatican journalist in Rome, a correspondent with Rome Reports TV news agency, also with our media partners at DeSales Media in the Diocese of Brooklyn at New Evangelization Television. And this Rome Reports documentary on Pope Emeritus Benedict the XVI takes a look not only at his life, but the reasons for his resignation. Melissa joins us this morning here on Morning Air. Good morning, Melissa. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Do we finally have some answers or maybe some surprises, some information that we didn't know about Pope Emeritus Benedict the XVI resignation?
I think so. I think the fact that we can look back now 5 years later, we have an intensified clarity and an understanding that perhaps we didn't have beforehand, right? Looking at it at the time, we were wondering, oh my gosh, this hasn't happened in 700 years. Why now? Why is this so important at this precise moment? So I think, in this documentary, as you mentioned, we speak to a lot of his friends, his close collaborators, and also the people, for example, like different quotes from Pope Benedict that he's stated. For example, he had said, "I've come to the certainty that my strengths, due to an advanced age, are no longer suited to have an adequate exercise of his papacy," right? So I think there are a lot of different things that contribite to that. So,
what is some of the new information that you've found?
So I think one of the things that a lot of people, they kind of speculated that perhaps it was due to the abuse scandal that he was having to deal with, or the Vatileaks case that was circulating in Rome. So there are many things like this. But I think even Federico Lombardi just says it in our documentary, and he said that it's really the pace of events, like the need to intervene urgently and decisively to the number of problems that came to his table. He wasn't able to do it. So he had first started to discern this resignation after his trip to Mexico in March 2012 because he couldn't fulfill all his duties. So I think the straw that broke his poor little camel's back was that he couldn't go to Brazil for World Youth Day. The doctors told him, "You are unable to go. You're physically unfit." So that's in July, 2013. So he said, "Okay, I can't do this, so I need to resign now, so that we can find a new pope, and then, someone could go."
The made-for-TV documentary, Benedict the XVI, in honor of truth. Melissa Butts, a Vatican journalist in Rome and a correspondent with Rome Reports TV, which put together this documentary and also breaks down some of the stereotypes of Benedict the XVI, doesn't it, Melissa?
Yes, it does. I think there are a lot of stereotypes that speak about him as being super, uber conservative, as just a theologian who didn't know anything about reality, as who wasn't in touch with the youth. But this obviously is not true. He was the first pope to be using Twitter. So that in and of itself it speaks about his relevancy and the fact that he wanted to reach out to the youth, and they were so important. When he was in Madrid, he added Eucharistic adoration to the World Youth Day, and it was so powerful. And so I think there's a lot of ways that he really wanted to be in touch with the youth, and I guess even it's a young church, right? It's the church of the future. So he's not just an older person, even though he was the oldest pope to be elected at 78. He wasn't just kind of out of touch with reality.
Melissa, with Pope Benedict stepping down, do you think that will lead to pressure on maybe all future popes if their health is declining slowly in later years to feel a little pressure to resign themselves?
I don't know about that. I think it depends on the level, right? He was told by doctors he was unable to do many trips, and as you can see, Pope Francis, traveling is part of the job. It's part of their role. It's not only a church role, right, but it's a state role. It's a government role. So I think in this case, he did the perfect decision. He made the perfect decision. But even, for example, John Paul II also declined. He had a slow decline, but but he still was able to do small things. And maybe perhaps in the last year, last 2 years, you can do less, and maybe nothing at all. But I don't know if it would put a pressure on future popes. I would tend to believe no. But I think there won't be that stigma that it's forbidden, though. I definitely think that is an important thing.
This documentary from Rome Reports Television has been put together for television, so this is not something that will be in theaters, but will be on television. And of course, we'll give you a heads up as to where that is. Melissa Butts, a Vatican journalist living in Rome, a correspondent with Rome Reports TV. She was not only the scriptwriter, but also one of the editors for the English version of Benedict the 16th in honor of the truth. And this is in English, in Italian, and also in Spanish, right, Melissa?
Correct. It was originally written in Spanish, and then we have the Italian version and also the English version. So our CEO wrote it in Spanish and conducted all of the interviews. And so he'll actually be present in New York to present it at an exclusive premiere on May 16th.
We'll look forward to that. And of course, we'll let you know where you can see this documentary. It will be on television, and chances are, for those of you in the New York metropolitan area, on Net Evangelization Television, New Evangelization Television, and Net TV. And of course, they stream worldwide online. And we'll let you know when you can see this brand new documentary, Benedict the 16th, in honor of truth. Melissa Butts, Vatican journalist in Rome, correspondent for Rome Reports TV, and also the scriptwriter and one of the editors for the English version of the documentary. Melissa, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We'll take you live to Rome for the Pope's General Weekly Audience. That's in the next half hour of Morning Air, 1 minute before the hour now on Relevant Radio and the Relevant Radio app.